All right, on this episode of the Paranormal Mind podcast, we're going to be talking about some really interesting twins.
Twinning.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Paranormal Mind podcast.
He tries to get to what's up, everybody?
I need a sledgehammer. That's what I need.
Smash!
Not to smash that, to smash your...
Oh, wow.
I don't want to
Jeez.
hurt the hammer, though. If I hit you in the head, it'd break the hammer.
That's true, yeah.
So how's everything going, man?
Good.
Seems like we were just here.
Seems like 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, if people don't know, like we record podcasts in a
several
row
episodes.
because we have our schedules are kind of all over the place.
Yep.
So we record a lot, and we've said that before. But if you're new here,
We're reminding you.
yeah, if you're new here, then now you know. But I want to get right into this really effed up
Let's do the dang
story
thing.
about these twins that Miss Mandy over there, who's our producer.
What's up, Mandy?
She sent me a couple of videos, and this is nuts, man. I don't think I've ever heard a story like this before in my life.
Oh,
Crazy.
snap.
So let's get into it. It's about a story about Ursula and Sabina Ericsson. Okay, they're these twins.
I
right?
know these. I saw a documentary of these.
Really? What?
Yeah.
Well, it's straight up mind-blowing, but it's all real. These Swedish twins, born on November 3rd, 1967, they grew up pretty normal in Sweden.
Right.
As normal as you can.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
But in 2008, things get wild. Ursula was living in the U.S. and Sabina was in Ireland with her family. Out of nowhere, they meet up and head to Liverpool. And Mandy, you're going to have to help me with some of these things. But for reasons nobody really knows. So they're in Liverpool, England, right? And they end up at a police station worried about Sabina's kid back in Ireland. The cops check in with Dublin, find out there's been some domestic disturbance, but nothing major other than that.
Okay.
Right? Then the sisters hop on a bus to London, and that's where things start to get really bizarre. Really bizarre. Okay. So they're on this bus acting super weird, clutching their bags like their life or death.
Yeah,
right?
like something's going to happen to them. Yeah.
The bus driver, he's getting freaked out.
Right.
Thinks they might have a bomb or something like that. Right. So he drops them at this service station, and the staff there, they're also getting weird vibes. You know, something's not adding up at all. So they call the cops, but the cops don't see anything wrong. So they leave. Now here's where it gets crazy. The twins start walking down the M6 Motorway right into traffic. So if you've ever been to England, it's a crazy area. They're getting hit by cars, causing chaos, but they keep going. Ursula, hold on. We got to stop here for a minute. All right. So I think I skimmed over it too much. They get hit by cars and they're still getting up, acting,
and then
like,
keep
it's
walking.
seemingly purposefully, like they'll run out in front of cars.
They're running out into traffic to get hit.
Okay.
But as soon as they get hit, miraculously they get
no
back
broken bones.
up.
They get back up.
Like superhuman strength, dude.
What?
Like, seriously crazy stuff. Yeah. All right. So
What?
So let's go back to one of the twins, Ursula, right? She gets hit by a truck, a semi. Her legs are...
Oh, my God.
Wait, isn't it a semi?
Yeah, it's a 40-ton box truck. So yeah.
Oh, my God.
All right. And her legs get crushed, but she survives it. Just wait. This is crazy shit. All right. So Sabina, the other twin, gets smacked by a car, goes unconscious for a bit, but then get this, she gets up and starts fighting with the cops.
What?
Yeah. So the twins, they're both taken to the hospital, but Sabina, she's out in a few hours.
Okay.
Ursula, you know, the one getting hit by a fucking semi,
Yeah.
of course, needs a little extra
she
medical
needs a minute.
attention.
Yeah.
And it took
We'll just put-
6 police and motorists
It's but a mere flesh wound.
listen to this.
to get them to go to the hospital. It took 6 like combined police and motorists per like for one of them. They had like superhuman strength where
dude.
it took 6 people
What
to
the
restrain
heck
her.
is going on here?
But one of the
That was
twins,
Sabina.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And Sabina's story,
She wild.
Sabina's story doesn't end there. Okay. We got more to talk about with Sabina. She's wandering around. She ends up at this guy, Glenn Hollinshead's house. I believe that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
He's being nice, trying to help her find her sister, right? She's looking for her sister
Right.
everywhere. Then out of nowhere, this is okay. This is not funny. This is not funny, but it's so bizarre. You can't help but laugh about this. This is crazy. All right. So out of nowhere, Sabina stabs him to death.
Oh my God.
The guy that's trying to help her find her sister, she stabs him to death. And it doesn't
I
end.
just woke up and chose violence.
It doesn't end. She runs off, hits herself with a hammer, hits herself now over and over again in the head with a hammer.
Oh my God, dude.
And then after that, she jumps off a bridge and survives it all.
What? Do what?
Survives all of it.
She broke both ankles and fractured her skull, but survived. And her sister, when Ursula was brought to the hospital, she's like joking with the staff, like not showing signs of being crazy at all.
Now, mind you, she. All right. So she hits herself with a hammer. She jumps off a bridge. Before all of that, she got hit by cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. No drugs or alcohol in either of their
drugs
systems.
or alcohol in their system.
All in a day's work.
Think of
Oh, and their bags
Golly.
had a passport and cell phones.
right.
The
So
bags
the
they were
bags
so
that they're
protective of.
clutching wasn't anything nefarious in there. There was nothing in there that they were trying to protect other than they had a passport and some phones. That's it. Like Mandy said, there were no drugs or alcohol in the system at all.
I don't understand.
So again, like I said, turns out there's no drugs or alcohol involved. The courts later find that Sabina had this rare thing called, and you're going to have to help me, Mandy, because I don't know what it's called. It's called folia de, I guess. I sound
de.
stupid when I say it. Folia de is what it's called. Or this is a simplified version.
Okay.
Shared psychosis with her sister. All right.
Shared delusion.
Yep. So it's like they both went crazy together. Now, Ursula goes back to the U.S. after recovering, and Sabina. So Ursula.
They were like, you're good.
She goes
Ursula.
back to Sweden.
Yeah. The one that gets like.
Well, she didn't murder anyone.
The one
so I
that
guess-
jumps in front of a semi recovers.
Yep. She's just like, all right.
So I don't know about you, but if I were to jump in front of a semi, if I were to jump in front of a Schwinn bicycle, I'd probably die.
Willingly.
Okay. I mean, that's the truth. Like, if I were to step out in front of like a bike that's going at high speed, I'm done for.
Yeah.
It's over. She jumps in front of a semi. Her
Both
legs get
legs are
crushed.
crushed.
Her legs get crushed.
And there's
but she
video.
survives, dude. There's video of this on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's everywhere because there's CCTV type footage.
So anyway, Ursula, she goes back to the U.S. recovering and all that. And
Sweden.
Sweden,
Yes,
excuse me.
not
and,
the US, Sweden.
And Sabina, she gets 5 years for manslaughter. Only 5 years.
That's it.
Only 5 years, but is out by 2011. This whole thing is like, how does this happen? You know, there's 2 normal people, seemingly, suddenly flipping out and causing all this chaos. It's weird. So let's dive into what went down at Sabina Ericsson's trial, because this is interesting. All right.
Okay.
After that crazy incident on the M6 Motorway, and again, I've been on the M6 Motorway.
Yeah.
And it's all kinds of nuts. You think Atlanta is
Oh, I
weird.
know.
So this motorway is where all,
It's all the main traffic.
it's all the
correct?
main traffic. Nuts.
And they go really fast.
The fact that they would jump in front of these cars and they survived it all, like that right there
That's crazy.
alone blows my mind. There is no way that these 2 should have survived. It's a miracle that they did. I don't know how. Again, like I said, after the crazy incident on the M6 Motorway and the tragic murder of that poor soul, Glenn Hollinshead, Sabina was arrested and eventually she was charged with murder. But the trial is where it gets a little weird. So Sabina's trial kicks off and it's not your typical courtroom drama. She pleads guilty to manslaughter due to diminished responsibility. Basically, she was impaired, or not impaired, but she's claiming that because she had some sort of psychosis.
She a little crazy.
Yeah, there's diminished responsibility there. So this is where it gets wild, though. Throughout the police interrogation and the trial, Sabina never really explains why she did what she did.
Okay.
So all of her responses were no comment. And get this, the footage of her and Ursula running onto the motorway, it wasn't even used in court at all to show that, hey, these people are nuts.
Or nuts, yeah.
So the lawyers, both prosecution and defense, agree that Sabina was insane when she killed Holland's head. But by the time of her trial, she's apparently back to normal. Everything's good with her. Weird. So the defense says she was suffering from folie à deux, or whatever you call it, being influenced by her twin sister, Ursula, because Ursula was going through some things. She kind of had this shared psychosis.
Well, he's going to be blaming it on your sister.
And they claimed that Ursula was the primary sufferer or whatever.
Twins, man.
Yeah. So at this time, they're throwing around terms like acute polymorphic delusional disorder and saying she heard voices. And like, hey, jump in front of this truck, I guess. But couldn't understand the voices. The judge, he's in a tough spot, but he ends up concluding that, Sabina's culpability for her actions is low because of her mental illness.
Right.
Which I guess, but still, it's weird.
Yeah.
So Sabina gets sentenced to 5 years, and she's sent to Bronzefield Women's Prison. While in prison, she turns to Christianity, it seems like that's always the go-to,
Ain't it, though? Ain't it?
It's like, hey, I did all of these awful things, but now I found God and I'm good. I mean,
we good, right?
Wasn't there Jeffrey Dahmer was that way?
Yeah.
There's which I guess if that's your way to,
as cliche as it is, it's
yeah.
I mean, whatever they're supposed to do, I suppose.
But yeah, it's weird that the courtroom, they'll call her crazy, and then they're like, oh, but she turned to Christ after this, and then, like, still thinks, okay, she's not crazy anymore. It's just
she was crazy just that day. Okay,
right. So she had already spent over a year in custody, so she's eligible for release in 2011. But here's the kicker. A lot of people are left scratching their heads, asking questions.
Of course.
Yeah. But like we are still.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why wasn't her mental state recognized earlier?
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Why?
So could this tragedy have been prevented? Did Glenn Holland's head brother, he was asking questions as well, and he was understandably upset. He's like, we don't blame her like you wouldn't blame a rabid dog after biting someone. But through all of that, he's blaming and is very critical of the justice system for not catching her mental disorder sooner. So he points out that Glenn was just trying to help someone in distress, trying to help her find her sister, which was in his nature.
Right.
That was sad. I think he got the crappy end of the deal for sure.
A terrible day for Glenn.
Think about this, but what makes me wonder, about their mental state at that time, you would think that Glenn would have caught on to, okay, this girl is acting weird.
Yeah.
And would have gotten out of that. Or could she switch it on and off? There's a lot of questions. After all of this, Mandy, you were talking about she was acting nonchalant with the police, nothing ever happened, and was acting completely normal, right? Mm-hmm. So I wonder if they could switch it off.
Maybe if they were separated.
Ooh.
Because Ursula was acting chill at the hospital. She's spitting at the police on the road as they're trying to deliver medical help for her.
Yeah, but if your crushed legs are flopping around, I think you're going to chill after a while.
How are you coherent enough to spit at somebody?
If your crushed legs are flopping after a while, you're going to chill.
But she gets to the hospital and she's like, oh, this is whatever. She's just chilling, laughing, being all nice. But Sabina wasn't there.
Her legs be looking like some fettuccine noodles.
Yeah.
Y'all, I will throw up right here.
Well, I mean, you got to think after a while, if she's spitting and pissed off after a while, with them just dangling there, she's probably fuck, I'm screwed.
They needed 6 people to get her when she had 2 crushed legs. Imagine if she'd had control of her legs.
Roid rage. That's what it was.
She had no drugs in her system.
Well, there's some people that would argue, oh, they were demon possessed then.
Oh, it's true. That is true.
If anybody's curious, one lives in Washington State now and one lives in Ireland.
Do not go try to visit or find these people.
Yeah. I won't tell you what town or anything, but they are still living.
Yeah. So in 2012, someone
have a Facebook?
Someone uploads the edit from the Motorway Cops episode to YouTube. And it's right after Ursula was hit talking about detaining Sabina for a mental health assessment. And this gets people thinking, if they had done that, maybe Glenn Holland's head's murder could have been prevented.
Maybe if they would not be Swiss cheese today.
Right. No, he's not. Oh, yeah, I guess.
That was mean.
Yeah, this whole case is a mix of tragedy, mystery, and a whole lot of what ifs. It's one of those stories that just sticks with you and makes you think about how unpredictable life is.
Wow.
And how unpredictable people
I can just snap right now.
Yeah. But again, there's all these things where people acclaim
that's crazy,
demonic possession and all of this stuff. But if there's no drugs or alcohol or anything else, like, yeah, it could be psychosis, but what explains the superhuman strength?
You know what's really like scary about it is that like we all just go day to day thinking like we got our shit together. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know, like these are people that were just supposedly just normal people and they just snapped like that and now they're back to normal.
Yeah, and then innocent lives are affected because of it too.
When is it going to happen to one of us?
Can you imagine being that truck driver?
Right.
He's
Can you
like,
imagine?
I'm just trying to do my job.
You see this
I'm just trying to go down the road, bro.
You see this girl flying over your truck and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? And then you're like, oh no, I just killed her.
Yeah.
And then you get out and you see her flopping legs
hissing
and her
spitting.
hissing and pissing and shitting.
Pissing and pissing. Need to be that on a
these
put
cops,
that on a shirt.
These cops are going to check her out, and she's over there like she can't use her lower half, but she's over there like swinging and fighting.
Y'all pick me up, please. I'm
Look,
gonna fight y'all.
I saw a video, and it's just a TikTok, but it was interesting to think about. And I don't have a lot of info because I'm not a scientist.
Amazing.
But they were talking about how like our bodies are stronger than our brains let them be. So they might have been running on insane levels of adrenaline for no reason. Because apparently if you flexed your muscles to like the full potential that your muscles can flex, you could shatter your bones. But your brain won't let you do that. Your brain protects yourself. So your body has more strength than you're allowed to have by your brain.
I've met some people.
Well, think about it, like moms lifting cars off of their baby.
Yeah,
that is true.
But I've met some people. I'd beg to differ on that muscle expanding past the bone thing. But I'll take your word for it. And science's word for it, I guess.
Science.
Don't quote me. I'm just repeating a TikTok.
Dude, it's TikTok.
It's a TikTok made you do it. Okay.
No, but it's like even with the insane amounts of adrenaline, like after a while,
crazy.
Like
you would think it would have worn off. Like 5
sure.
seconds after being hit by the truck, she might have had a little bit of adrenaline, but on the bus and.
Yeah, and like your legs being like Stretch Armstrong, and you're still over there like chilling.
Can you just roll these up for me?
Stop! I will pass out.
Lieutenant Dan, I got no legs.
Oh my god! And to be honest with you, if they were crushed, there's probably compound fractures.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I've never.
Could you imagine being the doctor for that? Like,
I wonder if she was able to keep her legs.
Yep, they're noodles.
Well, all they said was she recovered.
Or did they have to be amputated? When you say somebody's leg is crushed, I'm picturing like crushed potato chips.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Like for real though.
Yeah,
like
inside of your but inside of your skin.
Exactly. So I would think that they would have to have been amputated.
But if a semi doesn't do that to your legs,
it's like an empty tube of toothpaste.
What?
Oh my
your
God,
legs
dude.
would look like an empty tube of toothpaste. They'd just be like flattened.
You're pretty.
Don't you wish you had a sound effect for that? So anyway, I think we're going to cut this episode short. But look, twins are cool. Y'all have twin nieces, right?
They're okay.
Oh, they're okay. No, they're cool, but beware. Like there could be some.
It could be any
snap
close
at any
relationship. Any close relationship can experience folie à deux. Typically, twins are going to be like the closest.
Say that again.
Folie à deux.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Folie à deux.
Philistine.
Yeah. So I encourage all of you who are listening to go and research it even more. We bring these stories to you, but if you can find more information on it, go research, comment below. If you know if old Ursula's still got her legs,
man,
or
if y'all
whatever.
if y'all got some good
But
stories,
don't go
too,
try to
send
find
them our
them.
way.
That's weird.
Why not?
Don't go try to locate them.
Yeah, please don't go. Yeah,
let's invite them out to like an event.
We may not see you.
Guess.
What? Invite the twins?
Yeah, we'll invite them out.
That's a big negative.
Headlining.
No, because can you imagine? Look,
I want their autograph.
Who was it? Sabina? Sabina smashed her own head.
Yeah, with a hammer.
With a hammer. So if we tried to defend ourselves, we'd be screwed.
Yeah, that's true.
You
don't mess around with people that.
She tried to end it for herself.
If they're trying to hit themselves
bridge
with a hammer, you don't mess around with that.
She did that, and she tried to jump off a bridge because whatever. And and
broke her ankles. God.
And it was like, still survived it. Can you imagine, like, if you're done with it?
Maybe they knew, and they were just testing the waters to see, like, how much damage can I inflict on myself before I'm dead, and they just couldn't make it happen.
That's interesting too. There's been movies made about that too.
Yeah, like when you first started talking about this, my brain immediately went to like, oh, they've got some like superhuman like serum, and they're freaking out about the fact that they have it. So
well, and we don't know for sure. We don't know what.
You got that Captain America juice.
Yeah, they got gross.
Yeah, that is a little gross, Mandy.
No,
This is a family friendly.
Y'all are so weird.
This is a family friendly podcast,
ma'am.
Mandy. We were starting
My
2024.
Did they not inject Captain America with something to make him taller and more buff before he was Captain America?
Yeah, but you said Captain America's juice.
That's called steroids.
I said Captain America juice.
Oh
No.
Not America.
That's not what I heard.
Roll back the tape. Listeners, rewind.
Got some of that Captain America juice.
Anyway, thank y'all so much for listening to the Paranormal Mind podcast. We really do appreciate you. Steer clear of those crazy twins if you can.
And
please.
if you see them, invite them out to one of our events.
No,
No.
do not.
I'm
God,
just saying,
dude.
if you see them.
What if they're listening, man?
Oh, bro.
Be
I'd be
nice.
like flattered.
Jesus.
You listen to my podcast.
Thank y'all for listening. We appreciate y'all. Until the next one, we'll talk to y'all later.
Love ya.